What is up, guys? We are 11 weeks out from my meet, and we're getting right into the training week here. Started off with bench. Look at this technique, pulling the shoulders back. 240, another attempt. Down the drain. Dropped it on my internal organs, crushed them a little bit. But it's okay. I ended up getting out of this okay. No hospitalizations. No emergency room visits. But if you're benching by yourself, make sure you have safety pins, please. And if you're not, get a goddamn spotter. Be safe, people. This hurt a little bit, and it could have been worse if I hadn't even set the safety pins up. Probably just, I don't even know. I couldn't have rolled it down my stomach or anything like that. But luckily, I got out okay, and then just kind of sat there and chilled for a minute until someone came in. I was like, what the hell are you doing? But anyway, moving on to my back offsets. Went to 170 pounds for a 5x5. You can see, again, I'm really pulling my shoulders back. My elbows don't drop too low. This almost looks like a floor press for me, right? So that's what we want. We want to shorten the range of motion reasonably. Not a huge arch, but more than I've had in the past, and I think it's helping me out in terms of staying consistent through the range of motion. I don't really have sticking points now, per se, except that one with 240 you saw, but we'll work on that. My butt is still on the bench, yes, so that does count as a lift. Head is back, feet are on the ground. Not flat, but they are touching the ground, which is okay for the RPS, which is the federation I'm competing in. On to squats here. I believe this is the next day. Still high bar, 275 for a warm-up, nice and fast. The problem with high bar for me is that once I get heavier weights, like 290 here for a 2x5, I just really get out of position fast. So I hit depth fine, but once I get fatigued at all, it's very hard for me not to push forward out of the hole. You'll see me on the last couple reps of the set here, and I just pitch forward, and then I have to compensate with my lower back instead of using my quads directly, which is just it's not a fun thing to experience when you kind of round your lower back in these squats, even though my back is strong. But the second set here of 5, 290, looking angelic with that sun in the back. Good depth and everything. It's just once I get fatigued with these, they're really hard to maintain good form. Which brings me to my next point, which is that you should do what works for you, right? I talked about this in the last video, and I really want to emphasize that. I said that I was doing high bar because it felt better for me, and by that I mean it feels better on my back. But I think I'm going to try a low bar here, and you'll see a couple of clips of that in the rest of the video here. But anyway, moving on to conventional deadlift. 2 sets of 5 with 400 pounds. This is a weight that I wouldn't have thought I would have been repping in a million years, especially with dead stops like this. Not touch and go deadlifts anymore, so this was more painful on the hands than it looks, I guarantee you. No torn calluses, but something very close to that, even though I was chalked up. So finish that set, and then we're moving on to abs. This is a really fun exercise for abs. It's very loadable because you can use a cable machine and you can use the stack, or you can add weights on yourself. It's a lower ab exercise, like a reverse crunch type thing. Just hold yourself in, put your feet through one of those loops, one of those handles. And you can do this almost anywhere, any commercial gym. So this is a really good ab exercise just because you can load it with so much weight. But moving on from that to the next day, here's some low bar. Knees wrapped up, belt 335 pounds on the bar. And look at this, pause the first rep, up, big breath, and then I go for the second rep. Look at that. Again, not a weight I thought I would be getting a double for. So I moved up to 345 just because I looked at that video of 335 and it looks so smooth. Nice, and then the second one will be easier. There we go. Got that done. So that's crazy. I still can't believe that. And then our back down sets here. This is an all-time PR of 300 pounds for 8 reps. This is just, my squat has been blowing up. My deadlift has been blowing up. My bench has not. We'll get to that in a second here. all low bar here. You might not be able to tell, but I did go with a little bit of wider stance. Just testing things out. I felt a few twinges in my adductors here, which are the inner thigh muscles, the groin area. It's not a comfortable thing to feel, but I just tried to cut depth a little bit high on these as to not feel that too much, because I don't want to tweak something and be out of squatting for a while. That would be the worst. I don't want to get injured now. So here's the big day. 135 warm up for deadlifts. Look at my crazy ass being explosive. Trying to be an Olympic weightlifter here. Clean and press. Nope. Went on to 225. Really just explosive warm ups. These felt so good. Like I was in my head. I was hyped the fuck up. 315, fastest I've ever pulled this. 405, same. It looks like my old 315 did. So this felt so good that I just went 455 here. So that was crazy. 495, not something I thought I would hit, in the next couple weeks here. I was thinking it would take till the end of the year at least to hit 500, but I'm already there. That 495 looked fast to me. So back down sets here, 445 for 4, 425 for 4. Also huge PRs, all over. Just getting the volume in here, getting the practice. That's what this is all about for me. The touch and go deadlifts, trying to control it as best as I can, but you see I'll bounce a little bit off the bottom. That's not intentional. Put straps on here just because my calluses were starting to tear and I want to be able to deadlift mixed grip for the next coming months to prep for my meet. So 405 for 8 here. Just another weight I didn't think I'd be repping like that. It's just insane to think about. So yeah, really very happy with this. I was able to control this the whole way. The reps looked fast, but I think I had probably 1 or 2 more on me at least at the end. I just cut it short because I had set my rep range there from 4 to 8 for the day, and I'd rather get the volume in, get multiple sets of higher reps rather than just one set of ridiculously high reps. So here we go, 405 for 5 after that. You can see I'm hitching a little bit at the top, kind of using my legs on the first rep to support the weight. It's not something I want to do all the time. It's mostly just when I'm fatigued, right? So I have to really focus on my form. Very, very important. But on to the next one here, 395, I think, for 4, yep. Yeah, as you can see, I was a little tired here. Just straining, using the lower back a little too much for my own comfort, so I decided to call it at this 4th rep. Probably could have gotten another 1 or 2, but didn't want to risk injury. So after that, I moved on to farmer's walks. It's been a while since I've done these, so I'm going to need to work on this, build the strength back up, build the distance back up, etc. But no straps on here. My grip kind of failed me there. It wasn't my back or my shoulders. So moving on here to the next day, log press. This is a fun one. 3-pound PR here all time. So this was not the best I've ever done. Sorry, it was the best I've ever done by about 3 pounds. That was a more or less clean rep, but then I went on to try heavier weights just because it felt so good. So yeah, here's a 145. It's 225s on each side. I used the smaller plates just so that it would fit the log size more. This is a Rogue women's log, by the way. It's a 10-inch diameter one. It's a smaller one than the one they use in professional strongman, but that's all they have at the gym right now. So I suppose it's like dunking on a an 8 or a 9-foot hoop as opposed to a 10-foot hoop, something as simple as that. So that didn't work out so well. That one I did get the first rep, but it was really sloppy, so I went up in weight to 150 here, and This was a much cleaner rep, although it wasn't as good as I'd like it to be. Really got to work on technique here. So you'll see this 150 pressing up and back. That's the cue that I have to give myself every time I do this, up and back, behind my head almost. But moving on here to our rep sets. So this is 130 for 5. My overhead strength has gone way up in the past few weeks. It's just amazing to see. I did 135 for 3 on military press, 130 for 5 here. It's nice to see it finally working. But yeah, really need to practice the technique on here. Bringing it down back to my upper chest was just painful. Started to feel some tendinitis, some migraine type stuff in my arm. That's what it feels like. So, but really tried to focus on squeezing the butt, getting that knee drop right, and then just failed that 6th one barely. So then I dropped to 110 pounds here for the rest of my sets. These were much cleaner reps. I think I got first set of 8 maybe here, or a couple sets of 8 and a couple sets of 6. Just much cleaner overall. Pressing up and back. Yeah, I wore this heeled shoe, this running shoe, just to get in a better pressing position. That usually helps me a little bit. Although I'll consider going back to flats if it yields better performances for me. So, yeah, set of 8 here. Very, very clean. And I mean, this is more weight than I've ever repped overhead before. But the tendinitis was really getting to me on the down portion of those reps. So, took a little TheraBand here and got a lot of blood flow in the elbow region after and between sets. Anyway, moving on to the last day, Saturday. Warming up with low bar squats. Fast 315 for me. And from here I tried 365 because it felt so good, but watch. So that was a complete fail. But I unloaded it all, put the bar back up on the rack, loaded it all again, and tried 350 because that was my intended max. And this one was a little bit of grinder, but hit depth, got all the way up. So got that in the books. Then back down sets, 300 for 6. I got it for 8 earlier this week, you saw that, but just tired here. Everything is sore, it's the end of the week. I'm going to take Sunday off, probably do some active recovery, maybe some running, get outdoors a little bit, maybe take a hot bath. That seems to work pretty well for me when I'm sore. But yeah, I just cut some of these sets short. I could have done a couple more reps, grinding them out, but I really did not want my lower back to take over, which was the case on the last rep of these sets. So just racked the bar and took what I can get. Here we go. This tendonitis is really affecting me, but you'll see how slow I bring it down to my chest as opposed to normal. 205 was speedy off the chest, but it really hurts towards the bottom, so I made a homemade slingshot here. 240, took it really slow down, just touch and go. Never used that weight before, but I got it. So, last set here, 180 pounds for 10 reps. I've got 190 for 9 before, I've got 175 for 10. So this is technically a rep PR, it's not a volume PR though. Yeah, I just wrapped the hell out of my elbows and forearms just because it was so painful. I think that helped a little bit, but I tried to keep relatively good technique. I do have to figure out leg drive with this new arch, new technique. But nonetheless, good training week in the books. And I guess I will update you guys when we're 10 weeks out. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care.